Hello, my name is Faith Kilonzi.
I'm Rhonajoy Koome.
I'm Diana Mongina.
And I am Mwikali, and together we are
Global Tech Sailors.
This is a podcast where we explore the latest trends and technologies in the world of
cybersecurity,
data science,
software engineering,
DevOps,
and many more.
Welcome aboard.
Okay, so welcome guys to yet another episode of Global Tech Sailors, and today we'll be talking about roadmaps. Where did we start? Which languages did you start learning? In the course of your learning, did you have to change because an employer was seeking something different than what you have learned? And when you look back from where you started and which languages you learned first, do you think there is a different language you would have maybe wanted to learn? Or is there something else you think you would have done differently from what you are currently doing today? I think those are many questions that you normally ask ourselves, especially when you realize you've been in the tech world for, let me say, 2 or 3 years. And then you start looking back from where you came from and you're like, I didn't know I'd come this far, but yes, I have. And also when you look at the languages you've been able to learn over that period of time, there are quite many and it's not always easy. So starting off our episode today, I'd love to hear from the people here, the amazing people over here.
Yes.
I'd love
Amazing.
Please, finally, you guys, someone is calling me amazing.
Wow.
I was called amazing today.
Okay.
So
I think we'll
it's not
start
all
off.
that bad, right?
You people are lonely.
It's not that bad, guys.
It's not that bad, Bana. Please continue.
We'll start with banter. But anyway, let's get to Rhona. Rhona, what did you start learning? What was your first language, or what are some of the things you learned first when you were getting into tech?
So when I was getting into tech and specifically software, and again very specifically on the web, I started with, of course, the very basics: HTML, CSS. I did JavaScript, jQuery, AngularJS, and then I later did, for backend, I did Python, I did Django, and then Flask.
Let me ask before you actually continue.
Yeah.
All this was from a boot camp.
Yes, but remember I had earlier tried also learning, but mostly from a boot camp.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Transitioning to workplace.
Transitioning to workplace, the first time I wasn't a big maybe shift because I was expected to build an app in Python and Django.
Yeah.
So it's something I was pretty familiar with.
Okay.
But later on, I had to actually learn a lot of JS, which I feel like I never paid concentration on. So I later transitioned to learning JS deeply, and again React. Remember I did Angular, so I had to do React, and then I also had to do Ruby and Ruby on Rails for backend. Yeah, so yes, that's me.
So what do you use now?
What do you use?
There's so many, right?
Okay, yes.
Like
So do you have a language for work and another one for
For your personal
your
project.
personal projects and personal
yes,
clients?
yes, that is me. So for work I have React. No, not I have Ruby and Ruby on Rails. For personal practice I have Python. And, yeah, and for this one will say it was a good thing from the marketplace, the React.js, because anyway we'll
cuts
get
across.
Yeah, so yeah, that's where I am right now.
How has the transition been like moving from one language to another language, to a different language that you've never met before? Can you say it was easy because you had learned a previous language, or was it difficult?
I think it was easy, not easy too, but it was manageable because most of these concepts are related, so it's easier to move. But again, I think I had a very close-minded mentality when it came to a particular language that I will not name.
We know
So
it.
I think that was a very like I had to battle through it. But it is easy if you just, because you used the concepts are mostly related, so but it can also get confusing, guys. It can get very confusing.
I agree.
Can you give an example?
Python, Ruby.
Yeah.
I keep messing up with the syntax sometimes, so because they seem very similar but a bit different, so that's my struggle.
And then one final question would be, what do you think you would have done differently? Is there anything you regret, or is there anything you uphold from your journey before?
I have a big regret. I regret not paying attention and just a lot of work on JS. I wish if I went back, I would actually do more work on learning and JS, because that's the foundation of React JS, right?
Yeah.
So again, for front end, so that's my one regret.
Is there something you like that you feel you did good in?
The fact that I struggled but open-minded enough to be able to just learn and take up all these other new languages.
That's really nice. I asked that last question because Diana said we should be grateful. We shouldn't always be complaining.
Wow.
But anyway, I think we can give a round of applause for Rhonajoy.
Yes. For my journey.
Yeah.
Thank you for the claps. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Wow.
As I said again, I won't repeat the word. Anyway, let's move. I think we can hear from Mongina. You know the drill, right?
Yes, I do. So
Thank you.
I started as a software engineer. I went to a boot camp, as I said earlier on. We started with HTML, of course, and CSS, and then we learned JavaScript, then Python and Flask.
So what are you doing currently?
Currently, I work with Ruby on Rails, React, and JavaScript.
And M-Pesa Daraja API.
And Node.js.
So looking back at your journey, was it easy transiting?
Yes, it was, because I had an open mind. I knew I will not do Django and JavaScript forever. Software engineering, you have to have an open mind. You have to know today you will do this, tomorrow you'll get another client that will need you to do this. All the projects that come by, you have to learn something new.
Let me ask also another question.
Yeah.
What is the shortest time you have ever had to learn a language?
A day.
Wow.
Wait, what language was that?
I was not actually learning. I was doing as I do the project. So you have to deliver that project, and you have to learn that new language. Now you see the way we work with sprints in software engineering.
Yes.
You had something to produce that very day. So what did you say? You don't want the money or you don't want to read. you have to choose either.
Yes.
You either read to get the money, or you don't get the money and you don't get that language. So
I think Diana is the most open-minded person I know.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's always ready to take on any.
Please.
Madam Grateful.
You've had the motivation though.
Yeah.
She has.
Guys,
She was like, do you want the money or do you not want
the money is the motivation, guys.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't want to come off as someone who really loves money as much. But
You do love money. Let's not lie to ourselves.
but I think getting paid for a skill is the quickest way to learn it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
like
it will give you the
very
motivation.
motivating.
yeah, it's very
Exactly.
motivating. It keeps you grounded. You know you want it. So whatever it takes,
I
you
will do it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Tell me
that's
to learn Java. I will do it.
Please.
Very, very true.
I have a question though. So
Yeah.
what's the boundary or balance between learning so many languages and just maybe probably feeling like you're getting lost? You know, like the way you've taken up so many, you're learning one language today, the next month you're learning another one, the next month another one. So what's the balance, or how? Because sometimes I feel as if you get
I
very,
think
Jack of all trades.
yeah.
I think
We are back to this conversation from episode
I know.
1.
just as we say that you have to know who you identify as a person. The way we just say, even human beings, human beings, we should identify as somebody. Like, to me, I identify as a grateful person. You identify as this and this. That is how.
This and this. You don't know what to identify as. What?
This and this from
It's okay,
Mwikali.
this and
It's
this.
this and this from
That's an
Mwikali.
amazing person.
In software
Very
engineering,
submissive.
you have to identify as something. Like, you have to be perfect in one thing. That is what I learn every day.
You see,
At
like
least-
that's the same thing I think Ron was talking about when we asked you. I mean, you have the language for the employer or the project,
Yeah.
but you have the language for,
Your
or you have the
personal.
technology or the language for your personal work.
Yeah.
So that's why for you, I know it's Python, right? Like
Yeah.
if someone woke you up in the middle of the night to do this project, you choose Python without thinking.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what it comes down to. You learn for the sake of the job. If you love it, then you can continue with it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you should have
should
that
have-
comfort
Yeah.
language that you can come back to.
Makes sense.
Yes.
Actually, from that, I think I'd want to know from Dana, how many times have you had to change your language, like the language you're used to, because of an employer?
A number of times.
Wow. Jack of all trades.
Like now I'm working with Node.js.
Uh-huh.
Do some backend project.
That's really nice. And so I think to finish off with Diana, what would you have done differently?
I would pay attention to CSS. Okay, I'm a
I think you will do CSS differently.
Yeah, I will learn those two basics.
Uh-huh.
But I'm learning now.
That actually makes sense.
But then, you know, it's funny because we when we think of HTML and CSS, people think it's very easy.
Basic.
Like that's the what HTML. You're telling me to learn HTML and CSS. Do you think I am not smart or what? That's what we. But in real sense, these things are very
These are like the building blocks.
yeah, and which we ignore most of the time. So
And it's very wrong.
yeah, so.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Diana and Rona. I think we can move on to the next patient. Faith Kilonzi up next.
I cannot call myself a patient.
Okay, so we move on to the next host or co-hosts of Global
Amazing.
Oh,
Tech
please, I'm joking. Anyway, okay, so for my case, because I didn't go through a boot camp, a lot of the languages I knew them from school. So in school we did Python. We also did PHP. I tried doing C#.net a bit when I was in third year, but then transitioning into my first job, I had to learn Laravel. Had done vanilla PHP, just pure PHP, writing the vanilla code. Then I had to learn Laravel, which is a framework of PHP. Then immediately after that, I transitioned somewhere else, and I did Python Django. I knew Python, but I didn't know Django. I only knew Python Flask. So I added Django to the stack. Then immediately after that, I moved back to C#.net. Yes, I learned it in a day.
Genius.
For the interview. I knew the interview was tomorrow morning, so I transnited and did the thing.
Okay.
I got the job.
Passion.
But of course.
We are sorry.
But of course, it was. I mean, once I got into the door, I had to keep learning even as I create the solutions for the company. Yeah. After that, I've only had to learn maybe React, a bit of Angular, and briefly Ruby, and back to Python. So right now, my comfort language is Python and Flask and Django.
I think amongst us, you're the one who's quite had the roller coaster. Thinking of it, you've had to learn Laravel, C#.net. You had to learn Ruby, and look at you now back to Python, which is very interesting. But anyway, looking at your journey, it seems it was very intense. What are some of the takeaways that you'd give people from what you have been learning or from the transitions you've been having?
What a lot of the transitions I made were because of a job, because of a project, because of money.
Of course, money is back.
Of course. But one of the things that really stands out is, if I didn't want the opportunity, I wouldn't have applied. Most of the opportunities, I knew this will require me to change the job, to change the language, and I would openly get in there knowing that. So for me, I don't have any regrets with regards to having to switch. It just opened my eyes that maybe what you learn today is not necessarily what is going to be needed by a potential employer. So you should be able to apply that knowledge to learn something new. And also, like Diana said, you need to have an open mind to be able to make the transition. Sometimes, I mean, does it mean that you apply for every other job that will require something new? Of course not. So it has to be in alignment with what you're looking for at that particular moment. So for example, right now I can't apply for a job that needs me to learn maybe Swift. I'm not interested in anything Swift. I won't apply.
Yeah.
So and you also now, is the employer worth it?
Hey, okay.
Please.
Good question.
Because I mean, at the end of the day, someone told me the other day that when you apply for a job, in as much as you want to be employed to pay bills, you are also a key party in the bargaining power. You have the bargaining power to know, is this company in alignment with what I want to do, and all that. So it's not every other job that you take also. So it's a part of those things. Like, do I need to switch to Scala? Of course not.
Hey. I've never even thought of other languages.
So we have to we need to maybe have a plan on where you want to see yourself even as you apply for these jobs, right?
Yes.
So that you're not just blown by the wind wherever you
especially because remember, yes, you can learn something fast. There's a lot of the semantics are the same. It's just the syntax that changes when you switch languages.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you realize that it's not every company that is, when you're learning something, when you get in and you're very fresh in it and you're learning as you go, sometimes you're not as efficient as someone who has been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
So it will come as a disadvantage, or the rest of your colleagues will think that you're not performing as good as you should. You're learning. Yeah. So when an opportunity for a promotion comes in, who will be chosen? The one who has been using it for a long time.
Yeah.
So sometimes, even when you're applying, look for the stack that the company uses and see if it's something that is in line or is something that you can succeed in, because you want to be efficient in the job.
Yeah.
But the challenge comes in when you apply, it is Python and maybe React, then you get there, you're told, here we work with Java and something else. You see, the problem is not on your side, and you have already taken the job. Yeah, there.
This is a dilemma. Mwikali, what would you do?
I think I'd try learn, and I'd also try looking for other jobs at the same time.
Yeah.
I'd learn, but at the same time looking for other opportunities, so that when I land that different opportunity, or maybe a company that wants me to do what I'm comfortable with, I can hop very fast.
Yes.
I won't, we like learning, yes, but we also want to be comfortable. So I think I'd prefer comfortability.
Okay. Diana, you seem to have a different thought.
Yes, she's shaking her head.
Yes.
It's because people say you should be out of your comfort zone every time. So.
Really?
But do you want
don't they like the
comfort or
idea
are you
of
saying
comfort?
efficiency?
Yeah.
I think it can be both.
Efficiency.
No, but I think
No,
it can be
comfort
both.
can make you.
No, it can be both in the sense that I am comfortable coding in Python. Yes, that will make me efficient. True or false? Because this is something I've been doing for a very long time, so I am okay with doing that. In as much as yes, a different opportunity would like take me out of my comfort zone, I'd have to learn something different, but not in the case scenario where you've told us that I had applied for a job expecting it to be Python Django, and then I get there and then you tell me I'm doing Java. Those were not my expectations. Those were like my expectations were not there. That is something very different from what I expected to do. And I feel like you have lied to me as a person. Why would you tell me I'm coming to code in Python Django, then when I get there you tell me I should learn a different...
Maybe it's changing.
Like, is it immediately or after some time?
Maybe after some time.
Okay, if it's after some time,
it
it's
makes
understandable,
sense,
right?
but not immediately.
It can be immediate because maybe they are sourcing projects from outside, and the client that has come needs the project to do. They need the project to be done in Python or something, and you're not a Pythonista.
Shouldn't they mention that?
But then that happens.
That happens even.
I mean, for me, I worked for a consultancy, something related to what Diana is saying. We were doing projects for other clients. So in that case, then it was different. Like sometimes a client would want this to be implemented in Ruby, and another one would want to be implemented in Laravel. So of course, depending on the size of the team, you're more likely to have to learn the new one because of the client.
And but because they can't have maybe everyone for each language, a team for each particular language.
Correct.
But I think that will be mentioned in the JD then.
That like, you are going to be subjected to a lot of
like we learning. In this company we promote like learning. But anyway, like they should provide. I think there is a company, but then I remember that time when I was applying, they were like, we normally outsource different projects from different clients, and different clients have different expectations. Like they made it clear, and they liked that. The part that I didn't make it to the job sadly, but I would have really loved it because it's not funny. Because like they had already
something bigger is coming.
Yes.
Went to that.
Something bigger and mightier Mwikali is coming.
But I liked the fact that they put it out there clearly enough, so I was ready for all maybe the mental stuff that would come with it.
If the company is worth it, you'll learn.
Yeah, if they're paying me, we won't say the amount, but yes, if they are, why not? I will learn Java, please hire me. I will learn Java.
And Swift.
And Swift.
I am not sure. I'm not sure about Swift.
But I'm also thinking of, right now, I saw the Stack Overflow's developer trends in terms of languages rankings in 2022 and also a part in 2023. And one of the best performing languages actually is JavaScript. So JavaScript was on top of the chart, then Python, then the rest.
We are on the right track.
God, we are on the right. That's a validation for me. Thank you.
Aren't we all doing Python? Aren't we all doing Python?
The other companies, the other languages that are on the list, one is Scala.
Scala is on the list?
Yes. Rust.
Wow. Okay.
TypeScript
is
Java, Kotlin, PHP. C++, can you imagine?
What?
Yes. So but those are mostly the top languages in 2022 so JavaScript, it's actually React and Node.js. So I guess you guys are together. Then followed by Python, C++, TypeScript, Rust. There's another one called Scheme. I've never used it. Then Java and Kotlin. Those are like the top 10.
But it's good that at least we have the top 2 languages.
There's also the C# and Swift. PHP there too.
I think these remote companies, not even remote companies, but I don't want to call them remote universities, universities in the States, like outside countries, they tend to teach C# most of the time. I don't know if you've noticed that, because we won't lie, we normally do assignment writing. So you normally look at the assignments that you get, and mostly, I think most of them are C# and .NET. I don't know why, for some reason. Maybe they do know that where that there's
Okay, I've done C# for a bit, and one of the things that I realized with C#, the demand for it is mostly in enterprise companies. So it's very, like, for example, if you know, like most companies, the companies that use the Microsoft ecosystem, from the Microsoft OneDrive and all those Office and Teams and all those ones, those companies are more likely to be using C#. For example, Microsoft uses C#. That is like one of their main languages there, obviously because it's Microsoft though. But even most banks in Kenya will use C#.net. A lot of enterprise companies, traditional corporate mostly use .NET.
Would you know why? Like, why .NET? Why?
Some of them are like a lot of, .NET now is cross-platform. You can use .NET for mobile development, for cross-platform development. But it's mostly, they are popular for desktop applications.
Oh.
Yes, so it's very popular for desktop
which is mostly used in this type of companies.
Makes sense.
Yes. And in the same line, they use SQL Server. SQL Server, the Microsoft SQL Server for their database management systems.
Makes sense.
All right. Okay.
I think one last question I'd want to ask Kilonzi. How was the process like? Do you think it was easy for you, or was it hard?
Heck no.
Because you've actually had to learn many languages.
For me, I wouldn't say it was easy. Definitely wasn't easy. I would also want to be at the comfort of my...
Why are you looking at me?
I don't know. I would really love to be in the comfort of my, maybe Python throughout. But obviously, because of the way things are changing and because the company requires me, I feel like a lot of changing I've had to change was because of the companies and the projects I was working with. It wasn't mostly because I wanted to. Obviously, for some of them, I don't regret because I've used them for personal projects and some side jobs. So the benefit is there, but it wasn't easy, for sure.
But I think there's something common that is really coming up. When you learn one programming language, it is very easy for you to transition into another, right? Same thing as Rona said, Python and Ruby, kind of like the same syntax. So moving there would be easy. Same things, you'd find that things like OOP and everything tend to repeat themselves. Like the way you implement them in one language,
what is kind variable?
It's kind of the same way you'd implement it in a different language, right?
Yeah,
correct.
So learning one definitely makes it easy to learn another. Not easy, but manageable. I think manageable is a better word.
I want us to discuss something. And I don't know if I'm taking over.
No, it's okay.
So I realized that I was talking to a mentee of mine yesterday, and he said something. He said that right now he's just learning a lot more things. He realized that company X wants this programming language. Then when he's applying to another company, he needs another and another. So should he learn all of them, or should he go with what he has, then see if he's taken, or give us advice to a beginner who is seeing a lot of trends of changing languages. Maybe 2023, Scala will be the highest performing language in Stack Overflow. 2024, it will be Ruby. Another one will be C#. Like, how do you reconcile? I'm looking for a job. I only know this language, and companies want different things. How do I learn to impress all of them? Or what do I prioritize? Diana.
I think I saw that on Reddit. I use Reddit a lot. I don't know if you know that application.
Yes, I use it for banter though.
And memes, I know.
Yeah.
I use it for the wrong purposes.
Reality TV, you get actual things there.
I love watching, reading those two discussions there. But I think the most important thing is, what do you want to do right now? Right now, like at this moment, like if you want to move to another job, or if you want to learn something new, what is it? Is it Angular? Is it React? You can focus on that, because you will never learn everything all at once. Even though you learn them, you won't remember all of them. Because let's say you're working on a project in regards to maybe Node.js, and that project is running like 8 months. After that 8 months, maybe you get something else. You'll stop using Node.js, you start using the next thing. You'll remember the syntax, but you'll not remember all the concepts. You'll have to maybe Google or do something to remember. But I think the most important thing is focusing on what you want to do right now and building on that skill. Then you progress, and just keep an open mind. Every day is a learning day.
With you, that he should focus on what he knows, then make sure he solidifies what that is, such that even a potential employer can appreciate that you know something. And if he's willing to learn, I think in an interview you can say you are willing to learn. So then
tell them that, actually.
you can get the job, then afterwards you can learn on the job.
Very, very true.
And I think just on that, you know what I have been mostly told from a lot of people is that yes, we are very many in the industry, in the tech industry, the software so many of us say we are programming, but what sets us apart at the end of the day is whatever language you've picked, how good are you, how good are you. So I would also encourage them to pick up that one language and make sure you are a guru at it, such that when anyone talks about this language, man, you're shining. Like, I don't think any company would bypass such a person, really, as much as they have different stacks, and as long as you're willing to learn. I think
To add on Rona's point, I'd also say, like, if, let's say, for example, I am a master in Python, the fact that it took me maybe a specific time to be able to master such a language means that I am also able to master another language. So you being able to, like, create a niche for yourself and say, I am good in this particular thing. I don't think an employer can also overlook that, because they'll see this person has potential. The fact that they've been able to learn this and grasp it and maybe become good at it, we can try give them an opportunity and see what they do with these other different language that we are trying to maybe use in our organization, and see where they take it from there. So having a niche is important. And also, I think Diana said a very important point. I think it also contradicts with what I said. Getting out of your comfort zone.
For sure, like, get out of a comfort zone.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I think you want an opportunity, right?
Yeah.
You want an opportunity. So maybe as we wrap up, and because I was thinking about how this journey has been, like, the journey in software engineering, and because there are a lot of trends that are coming up, you need now to start thinking of transferable skills. What can you apply in this company that you could apply on the next one? What can you apply here? And like, all these things come together in, at the end of the day, you're the asset that companies want. So how much are you growing yourself to be able to attract those kind of opportunities? Yes, you might not know something they want, but you might also have something they want. So how do you communicate that in an interview setting? Very, very important.
Rhonajoy, parting shot?
My parting shot would be open-minded. Actually, that's it.
Be open-minded.
Be open-minded.
Okay, Mongina?
I'll also say the same. Just be open-minded, and change is inevitable. Move out of your comfort zone. You will get to see a lot of things out there. You have the potential. The world is your oyster. Oyster.
Oyster. Okay.
And I think to wrap it up, I'd say basically what everybody else has said. Always be ready for change. Mongina said I'm very sorry, Faith. Please give us your parting shot.
Faith was almost burning the house.
I'm like, I have a point. I
am very sorry.
I think if someone has not listened to our previous episode on how to look for jobs in tech, job hunting 101 in tech, we had an episode 3 on that. Please look it up on across our platforms. I think one of the points that we said was, for you to be able to apply to company X, you can do your research and find out what does their engineering team use. Is this company focused on Python? Is it focused on C#? Is it focused on this? Then you'll be able to have information. Then you can chat someone on LinkedIn. For me, before I apply for something or after I applied, I reach out to maybe a developer that is there or that worked there and find out how easy are they, how open-minded are they with regards to changing from one language to another. Can they allow you to use a different language? Then how is the engineering culture with regards to adopting latest languages? And also because there's a company that's still using VB.net, you guys.
Let me not land there.
So so you need to do your research and just due diligence really to find out what does the company use in terms of their technologies and their stack. And also it could also be motivating, like right now, because I want to get into Google and Google uses Python, I need to master this thing, so that even by the time we get to the interview, I can answer my questions fluently in Python. Then it can give me, because there's a company whose main stack is maybe Ruby on Rails. Then they call you for an interview and you use Python for your code challenge. How are you going to reconcile? So you just need to do your research and figure out what language do they use and how can I position myself for that opportunity. My parting shot is over.
You're good now?
I'm good.
Thank you very much. That was very necessary and very educative. And I think just to wrap up everything, I'd say expectations are always not what you find in the actual reality. We might be learning something right now expecting that you will land a job that specializes in that particular thing, but then end up in a very different language. Thing is, whatever Faith, Rona and Diana have said, it's good to get out of your comfort zone and work and learn, because money is always a motivating factor. That's a fact. If they pay, not even the fact that if they're paying good money, but if the company is worth it, as Faith Kilonzi said, I think you might want to take the jump, or can I call it a leap of faith? Can be both. Leap of faith.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw that, but anyway.
I saw it.
What?
But anyway.
No, I'm not seeing anything.
It's fine.
okay.
We'll explain to you later.
It's okay, we'll explain the joke later. But anyway, thank you guys for listening. Till next time.
Adios.
Till next time, guys.
Please follow us. Please make sure that you subscribe to our channel on YouTube at Global Tech Sailors. Share this podcast with someone who might benefit. A lot of budding techies out there that need this information. Don't be jealous.
Don't
be selfish.
Selfish with knowledge.
With us.
Please.
With us.
Support us, and thank you so far.
Bye.
Bye.